web, and it's painting time again. I'm now using my new workstation. So let's see how good, or how, yeah, let's see how good this workstation is, shall we? So we're going to carry on with our little wizardy chappy, and as you can see, we're sticking fairly close to the original colour scheme with a few differences. Let's just use out the wrinkles in our thingy. What do I call it? What am I thinking of? Wet palette. Okay, let's give our big brush a wash, bit of a rinse, bit of a wipe down, and then let's get cracking. Right, so we're going to start off, I think, with our purples for the sleeves and his top kind of thing, whatever it may be. So let's get that on the wet palette. I'm going to purple that, and what I want to do now is introduce another purple. The purple I've just added on is Xerius purple. That's the dark one. The light one I've just added into it now will be the Genestealer purple. And I'm just going to try and do kind of a one-to-one mix of it. I'm just going to mix them straight together, just like so. And then I'm going to wash this brush out and then give it a bit of a dry and get a finer detail brush, which will be this one. I don't think you're going to be able to see what it is. It's a detail brush. As I say, I'm not quite sure which one it is. And a little bit of water onto the brush, and then we can get it to the paint, like so. And let me just adjust my head loop, and then we can get going with it. Now we're just trying to find raised areas and areas that are going to be slightly, well, the areas that are going to be exposed to light, shall we say, and just add a bit of a stripe of this paler purple along that area. This is the part where we can actually use to disguise any imperfections that we've, any little happy accidents that we've made with the previous coat. We can do that now. And oops, I'm still having trouble with my head loop and the camera, but never mind. And there we go. Just adding this paler purple to where we know the light is going to hit. And you can either dab it on or stroke it on, as I'm doing here, or a mixture of it all. There we are. I'm going to add a touch of it to the edge of his cuffs, like so. I hope you can see this. There we go. And we'll wash that brush out again. And now we get a little bit more of this Genestealer purple. And we add that once more into this mix. So we've got more Genestealer purple than we have the Xerius purple. Now we'll just have a quick rinse out again. There we go. And back into the Xerius purple once more. Well, not the Xerius purple, the paler purple. And a little bit more. This time don't do as much. And we'll just touch here and there on the very highest points. And I'm not thinking at all about the top now, because I think that's going to, in fact, a little bit there. That'll do. That's all I'm going to be doing on the actual main body of the top. Well, I'm saying top because I'm not quite sure what you'd class it as, but honestly, I'm not going really into any great detail for that, because it's all going to be in shadow anyway. I just wanted to lighten it up a touch. There we are. And now we get our big brush again. So I'm going to move this cloth because it is a further distance away, and this time we're going to be getting not that one. The paint I want is actually in the, here we go, found it. It's Screaming Skull. That's the one I want for this bit. And this I'm going to add a little bit into the purple to pale it down even more. And this is going to be the brightest highlight of purple we're going to use. And that's it. I'll try that brush. Get our detail brush once again into the paint, and this time only on the very highest parts. I'll just add a little touch of this, you can see. If you get into the end, you can use this side of the brush to apply it, like I'm doing here. Some areas you will need to use the tip and the length of the brush, not the side, but there we are. Now that's that, and that's the purple bit's done. Nothing to it, eh? Next, what we have to do is, I'm not going to be touching his flesh other than his hands. That was best to go flesh. We don't need a great deal of this, which is a good job because we don't have a great deal of this left. Oh. that in there. And I'm just going to use some of the Screaming Skull that we used earlier to brighten it tremendously. Like so. This is going to be just the highlight for his hands. There's nothing else really that we need to highlight for skin because his face is hidden away under the brim of his hat. So it's just a few little marks here and there, just on his hands, just to make it look a little bit more highlighted. Just like so. And that's it. Just a tickle. Just a tickle. Now, what we want to use is not that one. Warboss Green. Warboss Green. This is the one we used for the rest of the vestments. Robe, whatever you wish to call it. We'll bang some of that in there. And there we are. And with this we're going to be mixing in again some of the Screaming Skull. Now we're not going too much with the Screaming Skull as yet. We want to build up the tonal differences as we did with the purple. So let's get into this now. This might be a little pale for what we want anyway. Let's just have a quick try first. It is just a touch. So we're going to go back into the Warboss screen and add some more of that into that mix. In fact, I don't think it was Warboss Green we used, was it? I don't know. It might have darkened up because of the wash we added over. I don't know, I can't remember. That's why I don't like leaving a long time between doing the base coats and the highlighting stage, because I forget what I used. And as you can see, I'm just using some small strokes, a few stippled areas as well, going along the entire length of creases. And again, we'll stipple some areas. And give quite a soft highlight. If you do it that way. And that's that. What I'm going to do, once this is dried, I'm going to be going over the green with a green wash, because it doesn't really look as though what am I saying now? It doesn't really look as though I've used the right colour to highlight. I might have used a darker green, but not to worry. We'll soon sort it. Now, for the cloak, we went with Eshin Grey, did we not? Which is this colour. It's a fairly dark grey. We use this for the cloak and the hat. We're going to add quite a bit of that, and then we're going to add a lighter grey to this, and that lighter grey is when I can see it, there it is, I think. Yep, the lighter grey is Dawnstone. We're going to add some of that. Oops, wrong brush. Add some of that to our Eshin Grey. Try and get a about 50-50 mix again. Same amounts of each grey. There we go. And that's it. I'll just go over some areas of the hat, areas of the cloak. Hope you can see that okay. I'm asking because now we've changed, the actual room light is behind me, so I'm hoping that you don't have too much of a change in the brightness here, so that you can't see things. And I'm just going to go around all the areas now which are going to be raised areas of the grey. Now some of these areas we're not going to touch anymore, others we are going to. And where we can, we're going to be using the edge of our brush, because that will give us a final line. Some areas we don't want a fine line, we want a fairly big covering line. There we go. And that is almost the cloak with this first set, or first lot of highlights done. There we go. And final here. I'm just going to roughly add a little bit of grey onto the inside. We're not going to touch the inside lining of the cloak any further. That is the only highlight we're going to do there because I want it to be fairly dark. But we are going to be adding some more dawnstone into this mix. Okay, this dawnstone, you saw it earlier. I'm not stopping to show you every paint. There you go. Let's see how that is. If it's not right, we can always try a different colour of paint. That's not a problem. We can use a lighter grey. But as it stands at the moment, we want a very subtle tonal change. We don't want it too in your face, as it were. And that is about it. I want one more bit of highlighting with grey. Just to what's the word I'm looking for? Brighten it up a little bit. And going to add into the other mix Administratum Grey. That is perfectly fine to do. And we'll add some of that in there. It will mix in with the others. It will darken. It will darken up slightly, but not too much. And here we're going to go on the top here. And then at the highest points where you think the light is going to hit, that is where this goes. And I mean quite literally the highest point where you think this is going to hit. You do not want it all over. And that is about right. Look, to try to do something like that on the green. It's not quite worked as well as I'd hoped, but we can always sort that out, which I'm going to do now. In fact, I'm not going to do it now, but I'll show you what I'm going to do. I've got a ledge. In fact, what I'm going to actually do is use a glaze, which will be Waywatcher Green. I'll use that later, because there's other things I need to do first. And one of those other things is to highlight the yellow, which I'm going to do with Flash Gitch Yellow. And we bang some of that onto our palette, and then in with the yellow, we want to really brighten this up, we're going to add white scar. Okay, so I don't want too much of the white scar. We don't want it turning too pale, because there's not much of this to be done. Oh, I've got that itchy nose syndrome again. Okay, all we need to do is just go over everywhere where it was yellow. And try and hide the bits where we accidentally went over with green. I'm not doing too much with this because it's there's not all that much to it, so we're just going to highlight a little bit and then leave it. And that's that. What we want to do now is the books and the leather areas, and what we're going to do with that is scrag brown. Okay, and give that a shake. What I'm going to do with that is put it straight into the yellow that we've just used. That will brighten it up. A little bit more. I'm just going to use this brush because there's not all that much of it, to be honest. I'm going to go in with this just on the book area there, the book area there. I'm just going to touch different areas where I think there's leather. Itchy nose syndrome again. Going to go through this, well, the bits attaching the scrolls to his belt. Do that. And I'm also going to just touch here and there on the staff with this, just to give it a little bit more of a textured feel. And try and get it so that it's actually on the areas that's holding the orb. There we are. And now I think what I want to do is just using a little bit of Screaming Skull. I'm going to put some on the, in fact I'm not going to use this brush at all. Because I want to do it as a dry brush. So I'll use one of the small dry brush brushies. And give it a wash because it's been in the Masters I'm covering the master's brush restorer thingy. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to get a little bit on my brush and I'm going to dry it off on my paper towel and just on the beard. And then I'm going to go into white, the white scar which you saw earlier, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but I'm not going to wash my brush. There we are, and there is our wizard almost complete. What I want to do now is dry off my dry brush, wash out my big brush, and then using that Waywatcher green glaze, I want to go over the green. There he is here. There we are. And that will do fine. I'm going to go over the orb as well. Because, let's face it, I can. But that, in fact, I've decided that I'm going to use Ushabti Bone. And it's not quite as dry a brush as I was doing earlier, but I don't want all that much paint on the brush, and I'm now going to go over that area, and because I thought it was looking a little bit too plain. But there we are for our wizard. That will do the job. All I need to do now is do the base, paint that black, and then bring it up with different shades of grey, furnish it, and then add the blood stains to the base, and then he is done. So, yet another model bites the dust on whatchamacallit for Dungeon Saga. We have, I think, one mini left from the base game, and that's the elf. And I'll do that later. But what I want to do first, before I do anything else, is go over these two bases. I'm going to give this one wizard time to dry. And I'm going to go over both bases, and then these two I can class as absolutely finished. So there we go. That's the one we did in the last video, if you remember, the legendary barbarian figure. This is the legendary the legendary wizard figure. So they will be done the next time you see them, with a base fairly similar to this fella. Okay, so that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I must admit I really do quite like the my little work area, painting area now, and I look forward to using it a lot more. But for now, from me, the Barbarian, and from the Wizard, until next time, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.